So it looks like the government has made a deal, and if you've got money in Silicon Valley Bank, I think you're going to get your money back. There's this breaking news. I want to share the headlines with you guys and go through some of the language and share my thoughts. This is crazy stuff. And again, I'll repeat, I think you're going to get your money back. So let's take a look at this here. U.S. says all deposits at failed bank will be available Monday. So if you got money in Silicon Valley, my personal opinion would be get the money out, get that cash, put it somewhere, hide it in your mattress, whatever you got to do. But evidently they're going to be able to get it on Monday is what they're saying. It's from the government here. Also, too, you can see here, Federal Reserve rolls out emergency measures to prevent banking crisis. And my opinion on this is that it already is a crisis if the government has to come in and essentially bail these people out. It actually gets worse. You'll see the headlines here. Regulators close second bank to move to ensure deposits. So late on Sunday, they closed yet another bank. I believe it's called Signature. I think it's in New York. Yeah, regulators closed New York Signature Bank, citing systemic risk. So not only did you have the FDIC, move very, very quickly on Silicon Valley Bank, we also had Silvergate close recently, and then they close on a Sunday, late on a Sunday, Signature Bank. So this is crazy. That's basically 3 bank closures. I honestly think we have a real problem. I mean, they're literally saying systemic risk that they're trying to prevent. And their solution is kind of odd. And I want to share this with you guys. We'll read through the language. It's hard to keep a straight face because this is so ridiculous and so fast. So let's go through it together. Okay, this is from the government. After receiving a recommendation from the boards of the FDIC, the Federal Reserve, and consulting with the president, this would be the Treasury, Secretary Yellen, approve actions enabling the FDIC to complete its resolution of Silicon Valley Bank, Santa Clara, California, in a manner that fully protects all depositors. I mean, I think you're going to get your money back. Depositors will have access to all of their money starting Monday, March 13th. No losses associated with the resolution of Silicon Valley Bank will be borne by the taxpayer. And they put that very clearly in the language. So my question is, okay, so it's a bailout of some sort, but it's not coming from taxpayer money, yet where is the money coming from? That's the question. And the solution they have is funky. They created something new. I mean, I'm not making up. It's something new. And well, you'll see, it's kind of a loan. The Fed said it would make additional funding available to banks to ensure they have, quote, the ability to meet the needs of all depositors, and through a new bank term funding program. That's what they're calling this thing, which offers loans of up to 1 year, right? So 1 year loan to banks that pledge U.S. Treasury securities, mortgage-backed securities, and other collateral. The regulators said that Signature Bank was closed Sunday. The New York Bank's depositors will be made whole, they said. So I guess it's some kind of loan from the government. The thing that's kind of strange to me, and I'll just talk about this with you guys. I remember when we did these PPP thing loans during the pandemic, and then they end up getting waived. Essentially, people didn't have to pay back, and that was just a bailout. So if I had to bet, like if I was a betting person, I would say they're going to call it a loan, and eventually these banks won't pay it back, if I had to bet. Because the problem is that it doesn't really solve the issue that there's a gaping hole in the balance sheet, right? So think of it this way. You lose a whole bunch of money. Someone gives you a loan, meaning like you're going to borrow, you get more money, but how are you going to ever repay the money back? Or how are you going to fill that missing gap? Like you lost a bunch because your values went down. Now, I understand that in this kind of situation, they're saying it's systemic risk. I don't know what's going on with Signature, but I do know, we talked about this before on the channel, many of these banks have long-dated bonds. I think it's like $620 billion that's unrealized losses, so that they're down. And if people are kind of nervous and start pulling money out of the bank, that creates a systemic problem. I think that's what they're concerned about. This right now is sort of showing the basically structural problems with our whole banking system, that the government has to come in and do this. I don't really have much else to say other than I think it stinks. It seems so weird. The other thing that was going on, it was on Sunday, 2 p.m. was the deadline in terms of, I guess they were trying to get a big bank to come in and, buy out Silicon Valley, something like that. It didn't seem like that there was any offers. And I read one thing by a politician. It was really funny. They're just like, we'll take a skinny buyer, fat buyer, short buyer, tall buyer. Like basically they'll take any kind of buyer. But I guess like the big ones like a Goldman or JP Morgan, they weren't having any of it. And the thing that sort of made me concerned is that like, okay, if a bigger buyer doesn't want to come in, maybe they don't have any money either. And so the government's like, well, geez, the banks don't have any money, which is, again, alarming because we're talking about banks here. And like, well, we don't really have the money either, but we'll give you a loan. So I don't know what to make of this, guys. I just read through the language with you. It's called Bank Term Funding Program. And we'll probably get more details. And evidently all the people are on board. What's really weird about it is the language earlier from Janet Yellen was like, oh, we're not going to bail out anybody, nothing like that. And I don't know what to make with it. We're probably going to get, a bunch of stuff going on Monday. And I'm sure there'll be some politics involved with this kind of thing, each side blaming the other side. But I want to mention before, we talked about this in the prior video, the Silicon Valley Bank CEO was actively working to essentially hold back relations or deregulate, that's the best way to describe it, from making, them have lighter requirements on the deposits and they can be more loosey-goosey with their money, sort of do what they like kind of thing, right? The hands-off government. And they were essentially paying off politicians. And this is both parties. We looked it up. I'm not making stuff up, guys. That's why I show you this thing. And so I think this is a systemic issue in politics, systemic issue with our government and our financial system. It just seems, everything seems messed up. And it all boils down to if you give the bank your money, are they keeping it safe? Are they literally just holding it there? Or are they like making really, really bad decisions with your money and losing it? And then when you come and get it, that they don't have it. This is a real thing. So anyway, love to hear your thoughts on the solution to this thing. It looks like you're going to get your money back on Monday. If it were me, I would be getting my money back on Monday. I no ifs, ands, or buts. Give me my money. That would be my opinion on that. And I guess the government's going to give some sort of loan, but it doesn't really all make sense to me because you're giving loans to people who already shown that they're poorly managed funds. I still think probably if you have stock in any of these banks, you're probably going to get wiped out. That would be my guess on that thing. I mean, I guess, I don't know. It's crazy. And if I get any more news, I'll share it with you guys. So thanks again for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you next video.